Mr. Ash. And the last one that I have is Mr. Shawn Glaspell.
Good evening, everybody. Glad everybody showed up and out to check us all out this evening. It worked out good. I sit there so long, I got about half stiff. Anyway, I've never been a county commissioner. I guess we've got one that's been there 24 years worth, and I've never been there not one day. But I spent 22 years in business for myself. I have an engineering degree from Fairmont State College. And them guys are right, we need water. We need water. You know, we need business. Water is really expensive to get here. And there's probably help. I mean, there's help. We can get water. But, you know, you can put out all this money to get water and then hope to get a company to come in because you got water. Or you can work with companies to come in with you and develop the water. So there's different ways of looking at that. You know, you have to have things to offer a company, of course. Not a place to put them first, right? Who cares if you've got waters, you know, any land to give to them, sell to them, help them out with, tax breaks. There's all kinds of things you can do to get people in here and not oil and gas companies. We have plenty of them. They're here. They're going to be here until the gas is moving on. They run the place, whatever they want to do with it. None of us really know the answer to that. But they've been good for us in some ways not. So for me to sit and say what I can do and what I can't. I don't wear suits and ties. This is what I wear. I wear 10, 12 hours a day. This is what I wear when I'm in office if I get elected. So I'm not real fancy and well-groomed like Mr. Ashley. I can't even talk that fast. I've known both for 42 years. I'm 42 years old. I've known both that long. So it's really kind of funny between us three to be running against each other. But it just worked out this way, and I'm not going to get into that. But so a lot of years, you know, running a business, you have a tendency to try to, you know, build something out of nothing. Most people that have the money to afford a business don't want to afford the business, right? So you build something, try to make it better for your family, for yourself. I run my father's mother's business for 11 years. We shut it down, and then I'm starting another business. Different style, same sawmill engineer, same style company. We've tweaked it to fit more modern applications, a little bit smaller, downsized. Got rid of a lot of overhead, some different things that create a lot of problems for companies, so you have to be really careful with what you do. You know, growth is a good thing, right? You want your kids to grow, but you don't want to grow too fast. You know, they're growing things. It's the way it is. And Mr. St. George, the other commission, has done a lot of good things. I mean, they spend a lot of money. And I'm sure that it's neatly done. I mean, there's things that a lot of things they've done that have to be done. It's just the way it is. You know, we don't always all agree. If you're lucky, 6 out of 10 will agree with you. Those are just the facts. That's what, you know, presidents are elected with less than 51% popular vote. So if you think someone of us going to sit up here, make 9 out of 10 and be happy, well, it's not going to happen. I wish it would. I can't make my wife happy. And she couldn't be here. She hated that. We had a senior in high school. And my daughter, she's playing probably one of her last basketball games this evening, so I apologize for that. And so I like to be here with all you guys and not there, but that's okay. That's why you elect people. You want to make sure they're going to be out there for you. So, and I can promise you that, and I will promise Shawn for growth. You know, we need growth. You have to do it, but you have to be really careful. You know, you can overwhelm yourself with it. So programs and your own money, there's different ways to do it. So that's what I do stand for, not back growth. But we just have to be careful with the money, our money, and how we go about it, So that's about all I have, and I appreciate you guys listening to me for a few minutes. I'm not going. I'm trying to talk as fast as Ori, and I tell you, it's making my mouth dry. I tell you, he's quick, man. We don't ever have to debate against each other, do we? I'm going to leave it. I'm sure y'all will track that. But I will battle for you guys, and I'm not going to waste your money. I promise you that. If you do elect me in, I'm not going to waste your money, and I will try to certainly do. I also drive school bus for Board of Education, so I have 3 kids, and I haul 2 of them, and I was kind of hoping my wife would maybe haul the other 2, but she don't, so I have to haul them. But they're the worst on the bus, of course, which I expected. And you were going to have a couple of questions, and I'll be more happy to shoot.
I give you this tie.
I don't want to wear it.
I was told I had to wear it.
See, I didn't know who you were because I've never seen you dressed in I couldn't figure out who you were.
Well, Mr. Shawn, it's good that you're here, and I've got a question. You know, anytime you're elected to the county commission, I don't care what group or what organization in this county, they're going to run to you and say, hey, we need money for this. What are the things that you will do to prioritize your spending that is for the county? How do you make that decision? Who you're going to help and who you're not going to help, and how much? That's a tough question.
Well, that's a possible question. Yeah, I'll answer. I'll be more than happy to talk about it, but I don't know if I'm going to answer it. I mean, here's the thing. You're going to have people coming every day. Everybody, the reason they come to the commission is because they want something, and they want to come every time, every meeting, every day. So just like Cliff said, right, you're going to pick out the things that need done the most. I mean, if you can put a Band-Aid on something, then you may have to do that. And so if that's what has to be done at that time, then that's what will be done. I mean, your education's going to be priority. Your health care, your emergency services, your police officers, those things have to be priority. Sometimes, I mean, if we already have a good system, then maybe that's not a priority. Maybe we can rely on the system that we've already spent money on and put money somewhere else. So prioritizing something like that without the exact situation is almost impossible to make up your mind which one's the most important.
It's very tough to like someone that don't like you. And as a public servant, well, it is. I'm telling you, if you're a Christian, you learn. That's really tough to do. But it's a beautiful thing when you can accomplish that. In what ways do you think what attributes could you bring to the county commission that you think would bring people that oppose you into a little bit of compromise, you might say? That's a tough one too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know, not fair.
You couldn't ask me for my shoe size. My favorite color was. I mean, come on. Well, I mean, I guess being in business, pretty much, I was groomed from an early age, I guess, to be in business, and nobody likes me either. It doesn't matter. If you're the poorest man in the world or the richest man in the world, if you have a business, somebody hates your guts. You can't help it. It's just the way it is. And sometimes, when we're out, we buy, large tracts of timber or land off of people, and, you go in, you ask them, what would you like for this piece of property? They tell you, you pay them. Their neighbor says, you mean that's all we give you? Well, yeah. Well, then now they're all mad at you because you paid them exactly what they wanted. But now they're not happy because somebody convinced them that they should have wanted more than that. Well, to get them kind of people to like you sometimes is impossible. Sometimes, with a discussion, one-on-one, explain to them. The one thing that I've never done was went in and say it was a gentleman or a lady that had something, say whatever they had was worth $20,000, offer them 10 grand for it, and they're ticked to death. Then when somebody mentions that to them, now that's wrong. So if you're honest with people to start with, if they have something you want, or if they need something you have, and it's a legitimate question, or if it's a legitimate amount for what they need, then if you stay within them realms, you always are able to sit down with them face to face and say, okay, you wanted this. You know, here's a national average on what I bought. It's very close to what you got paid. So, and a lot of times, once people understand why you do what you do, or maybe they understand it, maybe they're really not upset at you. So sometimes just a good discussion with them, based on the facts that you've done, can sometimes help that a lot.
Well, thank you, Shawn. And I really want to thank everybody that answered questions, because, you know, these questions aren't to discriminate or cause you to go at one another, but we know more about you to make a
Now, if you
vote.
ask me any more questions, it'll be easier ones.
I promise.